about last week, but he's been in here before you and been very polite about not playing for England. Can you be less polite or more passionate than he was at Burnley about not being? I know, as I say, I know you talked about last week and kind of drew comparisons with Steve Bruce, but having him sat there and being very polite about it.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago now. I got a bit of stick for that. They've been Brucey and Ben off, like they do. I think Tarky, I think Ben, I think they're performing well. I just mentioned it was a surprise that I thought they, haven't been called up. But, I'm not going to over-egg that because, Gareth, I know how hard it is to pick a team, let alone a squad, and particularly when you're picking players from all over the place.
But in terms of their performances, and it's probably symptomatic across the pitch, you've got competition for places everywhere, haven't you?
We've had the first little group of injuries, which is a bit unfortunate, but generally speaking, that was the plan. It's a constant work in progress. We've never had the finance to go and sign 5 big players at a time. We've had to kind of drip feed it in, and it's taken a while, but it's certainly, a competitive group at the moment. And even with the couple of injuries I thought the performance at Leicester was good, even though we had 3 changes. It was a good performance and I felt deserved more than we got. It bodes well from a competitive element, and then what you're hoping from that competitive element is that leads on to better performances because everyone's just got that. They're looking forward to play, of course, but they've got that look over their shoulder to know that there's someone ready who's waiting for the shirt.
VAR, did that get worse every time you watched it?
No, I think that the balance of it, I was happy with my words afterwards. I think the balance of it after the weekend was more a case of looking at the fact that it was such a soft one, and yet we saw the other soft ones that weren't given, if you like. Delafeo's, which is probably a penalty. Zaha, I think, was on De Bruyne, which is definitely a penalty in my opinion, not given, of course. The foul in the Liverpool-Man U game on Origi, I think it was. They're little ones that didn't get given, and yet Woody's is a little one that did get given. So, we're just looking for that kind of balance, really, I think. And I'm still a believer in VAR. I think it's a good thing, and I think eventually it'll be more streamlined. I think the only question mark left for it, in my opinion, is the turnover of penalties. I think there's been ones that we've all been surprised, including 2 that I've mentioned, or 2 out of the 3 incidents I mentioned when I certainly thought they were penalties, didn't get given. And I think that's the last thing, that strength of the VAR to turn things over. If they genuinely think it's wrong, they maybe didn't think they were wrong, but I think we all agree there's been a few that should have been turned over, or probably should have been turned over this season. But generally, I think the margins. I enjoyed the one. I was laughing with someone. I think it was last week after the game. Actually, but he was only 3 inches offside. That's exactly the point of VAR. By the way, it's 3 inches offside. I thought that was quite amusing. I've heard that a few times this season. I know it's frustration, by the way, of course, from managers. I get frustrated myself, but that is what it's there for. So I did marvel at that. At Wimbledon, if it's 3 inches out, I don't think you get that big trophy. I don't think that happens. But anyway,
it is the debate about the referees using the monitors pitch side. Is that
I'm not. I only mentioned it last week because that's what we got told before the game. I'm actually not a fan of that. I don't think it should be there. I think the whole point of VAR, in my opinion, is to be cool, calm and collected, sit in a room, loads of analytical views. That's enough. I think the idea of having a screen on the pitch side for me just adds to it. There's more noise, there's more emotion, there's more, you're blowing, you're coming over, you're trying to think, there's voices, etc., etc. I personally don't like that side of VAR. It's not been used yet, I don't think, here, although it's sort of on offer. That was my question mark last week. But if I had a view on it, I wouldn't have a monitor on the side of the screen.
But the whole thing will get better. It will find its way.
On the side of the pitch, sorry.
The whole system will find its way. It just will take time.
I think it will. I remember, but I think we soon forget actually the debate on the goal line technology. And within a matter of months, we were like, oh yeah, it's instant. It doesn't hardly impact anything. And I think the technology and the advances that will be made, including the human side of it. I think. When you're a referee, an experienced referee, you've played and been in enough games, to give that real almost gut feeling response to a moment because you've seen that many. So therefore you make a decision. Don't forget, in this side of things, if you're sitting in a room with all that analytical views, you don't need that instant gut feeling. So it's almost like to slow that down and go, right, just almost clear my mind. I've got to look at the screens now. Because I think once you've made that decision, you need to come back on it sometimes. And we know the clear ones. I'm on about the nip and tuck ones where on a screen it might look different. The clear ones, I would hope that any referee, whether he's thought it is and then decides it's not, they're quite easy. The ones that are kind of nip and tuck, then it's a more of a thought of, does your gut feeling impact too hard rather than slowing down and just looking at the analytical view. So I think that will take an adaptation as well.
But came away picking up some performance and the momentum continues.
Well, I certainly think performance-wise, I think we took a good side in Leicester on, particularly first half, and we gave a really soft goal at half-time, and that gave them a little bit of a push. And then over the whole game, I thought we delivered a good performance. In the last 10, 12 minutes, we're still knocking on their door, we're still trying to win a game, and I think that continually shows we're improving. It's how far you can improve. That's the challenge. How far can you push it? How many performances can you give? Top performances that, of course, they've got to get you points. That's the name of the game. But so far, I think there's good signs of what we're trying to do.
And personnel-wise, going into Chelsea, Ashley Barnes, Jack.
Ashley and Corky have. But I called him Ashley there, Barnesy and Corky. That's a unfamiliar name to me. They've trained today, so we'll make sure there's no reaction tomorrow, of course. Johan's still going to be a while. Woody's got a tight hamstring. We're going to have to make a judgment call on that, but we'll see. We'll know further tomorrow, sorry. And Drinky's still got a bit to go. But yeah, I mean, a couple in, couple out. So we'll see if people do pull through their injuries in time.
In terms of Danny Drinkwater, because it's Chelsea, it's personal. I mean, what's his path now in front of him in terms of when you might be...
just real fitness. He's we're hoping by next week he can join in on day-to-day basis with the first team squad. So he needs that now because it's been a bit of time, as you know. And then the challenge we've got is he didn't have enough football time when he got here, and we just about got him close to that, and then he's had another period out, so now we've got to give him more football time, as in games. Not so easy to get them games, but we can make sure that we range enough to get him to some kind of speed that he can at least be part of the group and start being active again for us.
What are the secrets in terms of the way that Frank Lampard's turned things around at Chelsea? When I say turn things around, the spirit he's got, is that down to the fact he had a season in the Championship and saw what kind of a club mentality was about, and he's kind of built that like you have?
I think it seems from the outside, I can only speak from the outside looking in, I think he's a learning curve in the Championship. Some of the things he'll learn from that he's put into Chelsea. He's obviously, with all due respect, dealing with a better group of players. A lot's made of the young players and they're doing very well, but there's some really good players around them, by the way, if you look at that squad on paper. So it's not like he went into a group of novice hurdlers. But I think he has added to that, and he's adding his own way and how he wants the team to perform. You see the pressing lines, the energy of the side, or the sharp energy of the side. Overall fitness was probably good anyway, but that real sharpness in their pressing particularly, the back line trying to advance and shorten the pitch, tactical things that what seemed to me that he's quite obviously looked at. And then equally still trying to find pockets of quality, by using some of the young players and almost that bit of freedom that comes with a young player. Don't really overthink it. His challenge, and he'll probably know, is to try and make that last a season, and the ups and downs that come with the season. But they're on a really good run. But I go back to it, they're a good side. There's a group of very good players, and even their younger players, Tammy Abraham, he's not that young, he's been around a while now. He's been, 120, 130 games. It's not like he's a complete novice. Whereas the boy Odoi, he's still learning, of course, but a very good player. Mason Mount looks a good player to me. Amori, there's a group there, backed and supported by a very, very experienced group.
I was going to say those experienced players, they negate the kind of post-playing in the Champions League sort of fatigue, the fact that they're used to doing that.
I don't know. I mean, I think they went strong last night for right reasons. You go into Ajax, it's not. I don't think that one's a walk in the park, and they delivered a very good performance, and they're on a good run. We can't overthink that. We've been down this road long enough where we've played teams that are in good runs. We've played teams of good performers and high-level performers, and we've taken them challenges on, numerous occasions. We have to do that again. We know that. They're definitely a good side, and we've got to play at the top of our levels to beat good sides.
Back to the young players, Sean, how obviously a lot of people are saying they've only got their chance because of this transfer ban. How difficult is it to give young players a chance in the Premier League? I
think it's the undefinable, to be fair to Frank, because, if he would have got the job regardless of any financial situation, would he have played them? He might well have done. He might have looked at them. He'd worked with a couple, don't forget, in the previous season. Pre-season, of course, he would have looked and thought, no, I think they're good enough, I'm going to play them. So you can't, no one will ever prove that. He'll have it in his own mind, which he was going to do. But facts being facts, he's chosen to do that regardless of the circumstances. It probably would have, all I would say, I can only imagine this because I've not been in a situation to have the money that Chelsea spent, but I can only imagine that it kind of probably changed your thinking slightly, because if someone's giving you hundreds of millions, or certainly 100 million or whatever the figure might be at a club like that, then of course there's some very, very good players out there. So it's like, well, what's the challenge then? The fact that he's had a bit more freedom to play the young players, I think in the eyes of the fans and the media, is very helpful to do that, I think. And he's using that wisely, I think. Getting them experienced at a relatively sort of safe situation, if you like. But if you look back 2 or 3 seasons at Chelsea, I argue that the managers at that time wouldn't have played the kids because, not because they don't want to, but they've just got players who are better at that time. So I think there's a mixture of circumstances. But so far they're doing a good job of it, no matter which way you look at it. They're making it work.
And how much of a boost is it to have Robbie Brady back?
Yeah, it's good to get him minutes. He's only really been lacking that. He's been ups and downs with injuries, and real game time is the final bit really when you've been out for a long time or varying periods up and down with injuries. So it's that game time that counts. Because
it's Chelsea, of course. Can you remember that free kick against them for his debut?
I do.
Your
very nice
of it.
And if 3 of them had been perfect, and it's easy to do that, but we'll see.
Afternoon, Sean. Just a word on Jay Rodriguez. Obviously came into the side last week, performed admirably, might get a chance this weekend as well, injuries permitting. Just what have you made of his sort of attitude and willingness to be ready to perform when called upon?
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a question of his attitude, that's for sure, and not likewise for all of the players here. I think he's enjoying it. I think he's that mixture of frustration but that demand to play, and he's been effective when he's come on the pitch. And then I thought as you rightly said, I thought he held his own and delivered some patches of a really good performance. Or he's like patches. It's not easy when you're just coming into a side, but I think he'll grow and mature into the group.
I guess it's forming those connections as well. Barnsley and Woody have played together for a long time and know each other's game inside out in that regard. Yeah,
and getting the know-how of the team as well, not just the centre-forward pairings often do play with the two, as everyone knows, but, I think the links that come with knowing players' games, and training obviously helps that, but it's match time that always really glues it together.
Speaking of centre forwards, Naki Wells has been among the goals on loan at QPR. Just where do you see his sort of future lie in terms of
we'll see. He had to go out and get some more regular football, which he did somewhat last season, and he's certainly delivering at the moment. I know with Mark Warburton well, and I think he really wanted him to go down there, and Naki was happy to do that. So I'm really pleased for him. He's certainly a good pro and a good character around here, but he did need football, so we got him out playing, and he's doing well.
I guess it's just opportunities with players ahead of him. You've got 4 strikers here, haven't you, competing for places, so it's just a numbers game in that sense for him.
Yeah, and a decision had to be made, and I thought the 4 were just in front of him, so I thought therefore he needs to go out and get football, and he's got a balanced view of that. He's old enough to understand that, and he's getting on with his football down there.
If something were to materialise in January from QPR that might enable him to go there permanently, is that something you might look at?
We'll see.
It's coming up to your 7-year anniversary, as I'm sure you're aware.
I am.
Just what sort of, memories do you have of first walking into Burnley? And I know it's completely different now. None of this was here and what have you. But
well, things like this, there was probably 2 of us, I think, and on press day, Suzanne was there, Chris was there most weeks. So yeah, that was that. That was the media side of things done. A bit of radio maybe. So this has considerably changed. Arthur Bellamy was still living here at that time. No, joking apart, the thing has changed radically, both on and off the pitch, which I've been pleased with both because they're both important from where the club was to where it is now. We all know the story. I'm not going to bore you with it, but making the infrastructure improve the first time we got up was an important factor for the whole club for the next however many years. Now it's kind of reversed. The money that was going off the pitch, we're trying to put it on the pitch and trying to enhance that side of things, but still keep a balance to the health of the club. And it's a tricky balance to find, but it's an important one for the club to build on what's been laid down in the last 7 years, and that includes me or beyond me. It's the way the club wants it working and how it should work for the betterment of it.
I guess when you applied for the job at Burnley, you didn't necessarily see yourself sitting here coming up against Chelsea, established maybe not established, but in your 5th season in the Premier League.
Well, I thought we could build something. I'm not sure we could build all the way up to where we are now. You don't go into a football club not believing in what you do and what you think you can change. But it would have been a tall order, and I'd be a liar if I said that we were going to do everything that we've done to this day sitting here.
Yeah, you didn't say that in the interview.
Yeah, sorry?
You didn't say that in the interview, so they were sort
of... No, believe it or not, though,
I've
I've looked back at my interview. Not very often, but I showed someone it recently. They asked me about my first interview here, which was my first ever interview, by the way, ever in my life. So it was quite interesting to see what I put down then and what has been achieved, and there is quite a bit, so... Maybe I was a good liar.
And just lastly for me, Joe Hart was part of BT Sports sort of Champions League coverage, I think, on Tuesday night, where he was sort of speaking about his future and his desire for regular game time. I know he's another who's in a good pro camp and is obviously competing well with Nick Pope. Where do you sort of see his future further down the line?
Well, at the minute, staying with the challenge of what he's doing, and then we'll worry about the future when it needs to be worried about. But at the minute, he's performing well in training. He's good about the joint. He understands that Pope is currently number one and delivering good performances. But he also understands the importance of his professionalism, which he is a very, very good professional. Because you've got Bailey as well, learning from them guys. So I think there's a healthy mixture, and he plays his part in that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stats, by the way. One interview, one job.
Not bad. It's like my penalty record.